Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday segment of Divine Femininity United. I am your girl, Dr. Bianca, Miss Believe, and we are here once again for another chapter reading of this phenomenal book that we are collectively going through. It is entitled Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender, written by the late, great David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. This book, along with his other books, have been amazing so far. This is our second book of his, but we will be journeying for the duration of this year and beyond with this author, okay? Because this is what we need for our right now, okay? I don't know about you, but I know about me and my journey here and towards a higher consciousness, evolving, expanding, reaching enlightenment and things of that nature. I am on that journey to connect with my most highest, most sacred, most divine self. I promise you, little by little, we are ridding ourselves of this human stuff, not just the experience of it, but the things that we have allowed ourselves to be attached to grow connected to, or just to be a part of our new, like become these things that we are not, these personalities that we are not. We've taken on personas, the root word of personality, which is a Latin word, which is defined as masks. So we put on these masks in this life, and we've become things that we are not. So these journeys through these book readings that we are going through are bringing us back to our origins, which is ourselves. It's ourself. And I'm so grateful for that, because the more I journey, for me, okay, the more I journey, the more in love I fall into myself. The more sacred, the more I protect and cover and savor who I am. I appreciate the makings of me. Whereas once upon a time before, when I became everything that I saw, when I emulated every personality that I was around, when I adjusted and became what I thought would garner me the attention, or the selective the selections, or the friends, or the circles, or whatever that I wanted, that I thought I wanted. Okay, hello, because I did all of that bending and conforming only to still be left out in the cold. Hello, somebody. So that tells you right there. Please yourself. Please yourself. Become you. Be you. Stand in you. And as you operate from your authentic self, then let the universe draw energetically. Like, you let yourself become a magnet to the people, for the opportunities, the things, that are on your same level, on your same trajectory. That's the beauty about it. There is no fuss, there's no work involved. It's nothing that you do in your own power and ability. This is what you emit. You become what you desire, and as a result, when you emit who you are, the universe draws to you or sends your way everything on that level, okay? And that's a beautiful thing. The more authentic you are, the more connected to you are, the more authentic your connections will be. Okay, the more authentic your opportunities will be, the more genuine, the more on your level, connected to your passion, connected to your heart space, where you think and where you desire to go. All of those things will organically find their way to you. Rumi, the phenomenal poet, said, what you want wants you to. What you want wants you to. All you got to do is become what you desire, what you're looking for. Just be it, and watch everything fall in the place that it's supposed to fall into. Promise you that. Okay. I don't know that I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to start this like this. I didn't. But I tell you what, I'm glad it happened, because it's for somebody. I always say I'm not for everybody. I'm for somebody, and hopefully I received it too for my own self. Okay. But if you want to hijack it, you go right ahead. Okay. Alrighty, you all. So we're about to start chapter 8 of this phenomenal book. Chapter 8 is entitled Anger. Anger. Are y'all ready for that? Anger. My goodness. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to begin that chapter at any point, no matter where you're listening from. We're airing live on multiple platforms simultaneously. We're on Clubhouse, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, all of the places. We're airing live simultaneously. So from wherever you're listening from, first of all, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But if you hear something that resonates with you, you hear something that pops out to you, then feel free to utilize the comment section and the chat section. That's what it's for. Okay. Share your thoughts, share your feelings, share what popped out and resonated with you. Okay. And then we'll go from there. All righty. Here we go. Chapter 8. Anger. Anger may vary all the way from rage to mild resentment. It includes revenge, outrage, indignation, fury, jealousy, vindictiveness, spite, hatred, contempt, wrath, argumentiveness, hostility, sarcasm, impatience, frustration, negativity, aggression, violence, revulsion, meanness, rebellion, explosive behavior, agitation, abusiveness, abrasiveness, smoldering, sullenness, pouting, and stubbornness. These variations of anger are well exemplified by the daily news on television. Yes, it is. Anger may come up about the technique of surrender itself. Anger that one is expected to let go of feelings that in the past have been valued. Anger at the fear of loss. Anger at feelings in general. Anger at a feeling that does not relinquish immediately. There's a lot of energy in anger. Therefore, we may actually feel energized when we are irritated or angry. One of the tricks people learn is to move up quickly from apathy and grief into anger, and then to jump from anger to pride, and then on into courage. He's talking about the levels of consciousness from a lower vibrating from lower frequency to higher frequency. And anger is higher than apathy, than grief, okay? But is lower than pride and courage, okay? In anger, there's the energy for action. This results in doingness in the world. When the have nots of the world become energized by desire and move up to anger over what they lack, that anger moves them into actions necessary to fulfill their dreams for a better life. The quantity of suppressed anger in the population can be verified quickly by seeing how popular violence is in the media, where the viewers are presented with a vicarious experience of letting out their anger in the form of beatings, shootings, stabbings, lynchings, killings of various bad guys. We typically feel so much guilt about anger that we find it necessary to make the object of our anger wrong so that we can say our anger is justified. Few are the persons who can take responsibility for their own anger and just say, I am angry because I am full of angriness. And it's so true. We do look for reasons to justify. I tell you what. Okay. Next section, using anger positively. Using anger positively. It is common for people to repress their anger, aggression, and inner hostility. They view it as an unpleasant, undignified, and even as a moral failure or spiritual setback. They do not realize that repressed anger is nonetheless the energy of anger, and if not acknowledged and worked through, it will have deleterious consequences to their health and overall progress. It's true. Pent up anger. The intention behind anger is negative, and it will have similar consequences even if it is not expressed. A helpful approach is to view the energy of anger positively and to use it to fire up our ambitions and our actions in a useful way. For instance, let's say that we are angry at our boss. We feel resentful. He never seems to acknowledge our abilities or efforts, but we know it's unwise to express anger and resentment. It would very likely result in the loss of a job or at least bring on the continued resentment of the boss. At best, the expression of anger will result in a tacky situation. Instead, we can make a decision to use that energy in a constructive way in our own behalf. It can be the inspiration for us to create a project that, because of its excellence, proves our point. It might be the energy for us to move up and out of a situation that is unsatisfactory. We can utilize that energy to create new job opportunities or find a better job, form a committee, improve our employment situation, start a union, and whatever we think would benefit our personal goals. In personal relationships, the same opportunity exists. The anger can be utilized to inspire us to improve our communication skills, take a course on interpersonal relationships, or enroll in a self improvement program. The anger can inspire us to rededication, to put more greater clarity of effort, and to actually do a better job. In this way, the situation can result in recommitment. It can inspire us to look within ourselves and relinquish all the negative feelings via acceptance. Instead of being mad about it, we can accept it. Absolutely. That's good. And I've done that before. I'm not going to even lie to you. Where you're so angry about a situation and how you ended up in a situation or how it's going, and you know it's unfair, but there's nothing that you can do outwardly, I tighten up my own self. Okay, that's what the planet Mars is about, cosmically talking about, astrology and the planetary placements and things like that. But when we talk about Mars, Mars is a fiery planet. Okay, and when we talk about Mars, Mars is the planet of action. Okay, it's fire behind it, ambition, assertiveness, go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? Get it done no matter what, even if you're angry. You know what I'm saying? If you got to use that and alchemize, is what I call it. You got to alchemize that energy, alchemize it, and flip that negative to a positive, and watch and see. There's an outlook. And before you know it, because you're so driven in the action, and you're lit by the fire within your own self, and you're driven to action, you'll mess around and forget about what the little issue with your boss, because you're more determined about, no worries, I'll show you better than I can tell you. And here you go. Okay. Very much so. Hello, hello. Malachi listening in from Facebook. Thank you, thank you. That is a powerful strategy. Yes, it is. Come on here. Powerful strategy. Okay. Alchemy. That's the best way. That's the best way to get back. Alchemize. Okay. Take that energy and flip it on his head and make it work for you for the positive. Next section, self sacrifice. Self sacrifice. There are many sources of anger. We have already mentioned that very often a complex of angry feelings is connected with fear, and the anger disappears when we let go of fear. Mhm. Another source of anger is that of pride, and especially the aspect of pride called vanity. Frequently, it is our personal pride that feeds and propagates the anger. One source of pride is connected with self sacrifice. If our relationships with others are associated with our small self, our little self, in the form of sacrifice, then we're setting ourselves up for later anger, because the other person is usually unaware of our sacrifice and is therefore unlikely to fulfill our expectations. Come on here. An example of this comes from a day in the life of a typical traditional marriage. Let's talk about it. Ooh, because self-sacrifice happens in marriages all the time. Ooh, here we go. Come on, relationship peoples. The wife spends the entire day working hard at cleaning the house, meticulously looking after the plants, bringing in flowers, rearranging some furniture, doing all she can to make the house look beautiful. When the husband comes home, he doesn't say a word about the house or even seem to notice. Instead, he is exhausted from a day of work, and he recounts his various trials and tribulations. In his mind, he's thinking of all the self sacrifices he has made, the irate customers, the arduous drive through commuter traffic, the irritable boss, and the pressure of deadlines. He is thinking of all that he has done for his wife and family. While he is thinking of all of his hardships, she is feeling a mounting resentment that he hasn't acknowledged her efforts. And she goes back in her mind over all the sacrifices she made that day. She could have gone out for lunch with friends. She could have finished reading the book that she was enjoying. She could have watched her favorite program on television. Instead, she did all of this for him, and now he is making no comment on the results of her efforts. As both harbor their grudges, resentments, and frustrations, their inner anger mounts. It is expressed as coolness and detachment as they escape into television for the evening and go to bed silently to brood over their grievances. This is such a typical American home scene that it is almost banal to repeat it here. Yet, its commonness speaks of its learning value to us. We can examine it and try to unravel this decline of a relationship. Hello, somebody. Ooh. Ooh. That which we want, desire, and insist upon from another person is felt by them as pressure. They feel, therefore, unconsciously resist. They will, therefore, unconsciously resist. In the above example, both persons are looking for acknowledgement. They want it, desire it, but block it in each other. Come on here. Each side feels pressured and consequently resistant. The resistance is because pressure is always felt by us as a denial of our choice. It is felt as emotional blackmail. The unconscious formula goes, give me what I want and I will punish you, or I will punish you with by withdrawal, anger, pouting, sulking, and resentment. We all resent feeling emotionally blackmailed. We all know the resistance we feel when we become aware that somebody is fishing for a compliment. And the same resistance goes as unconsciously as well as consciously. I'm telling you, when we are motivated by self sacrifice, we are pressuring the other person. Even if we force an acknowledgement, it will be disgruntled, it will be a disgruntled one. A forced compliment does not satisfy. Part of the anger here arises from the pride of self sacrifice. We have a certain secret vanity about what we're doing for others, and our pride of achievement makes us vulnerable to anger when our sacrifice is not recognized. The way to offset this anger is to acknowledge and relinquish the pride, surrender our desire for the pleasure of self pity, and instead view our efforts on behalf of others as gifts. Hello. I mean it, because if you're not going to do it from your heart, don't do it at all. We can experience the joy of being generous with others as it's our own reward. Our own reward. See there? Malachi on Facebook says, imagine doing this to each other for years. Emotional destruction and your nervous system is destroyed. And here's the thing, we don't need to imagine, Malachi, because it happens in homes everywhere, every day. And they call that happy marriage. Ugh. Nothing happy about it. They wouldn't know happy if the letters HAPPY was dropped in their hands. Okay? They have become conditioned that this is what marriage is: self sacrifice. This is it. This is marriage. This is my life. I have to become this. I have to do this. I have to, have to, have to. This is my life. This is why a lot of people stay working for hours on hours on hours. This is why when they get off of work, they come home and will sit in the driveway for 30 minutes to an hour before they even get out of the car and walk in the house. Hello, somebody. All right? This is why. This is why when COVID happened and everyone was forced to go inside and be indoors and what do you call it? Quarantine together. Oh, this is why during that first year of quarantine, the divorce rate was skyrocketed. It doubled and tripled from the year previous. Why? Because a lot of these folks being locked indoors and couldn't go anywhere and escape it or to silence it or to, whatever the case, they couldn't run. They had to face it. And then they realized, you know what? I don't like you for real. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. I don't even know why I'm here. Okay. I don't I can't 24/7. Oh no. Oh no, I can't do this. Work and escaping, leaving the house was the saving grace of the marriage. But when that was taken away, they had to face the elephants in the room that they had long, many years tried to slide by and ignore and all of that stuff. But on the contrary, there were some marriages that realized, you know what? I missed you. Man, this is good. Because we haven't sat and had dinner together at the table in a long time. We haven't had a conversation. I'm just looking at you. I feel like for the first time. Oh my God, you are gorgeous. What in the world? I'm so away, and I was just busy trying to do this and going here and going there, that I completely missed this time with our children. I didn't realize how silly they were, how funny they were, how talented they were. Oh my goodness. That was the opposite. We had a lot of marriages that went that route too. Okay. But we had to face our truth. We had to face our truth. And that's what a lot of marriages, that's what a lot of relationships, let me not just say marriages, because, honey, okay, all right. I mean, I know it's Sunday. I don't want to step on toes and nothing, but just know you'll be all right. You'll be all right. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome from wherever you're listening from. I know we're on several platforms, and I know we have listeners and engagers and things like that. So I don't want to, I hope what I'm saying is hitting for you in a positive way. Okay, not in a we don't do condemnation here. We don't do guilt. We don't do blame. We do learn though. We do learn though. We own it. We own it. We own it. Like my mentor, she says, check your hair. Check your hair. Hair is an acronym for be honest with yourself, be accountable with yourself, be integral, operate with integrity in dealing with yourself, and be responsible for yourself. Okay. So when we're doing and having conversations like this, we having a heart to heart. Okay. Heart to heart, hard conversations, necessary conversations so that we can see us. That's all it is. We are all holding each other's hand, walking each other back home to our most higher sacred self. Okay. That's what this is. We love you for real here. Okay. You can bleed out and we'll help you with the gauze. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. We'll clean up the floor. Okay. Go on and bleed. Go on and bleed. Okay. Next section, acknowledgement. One of the great secrets of relationship is acknowledgement. The behavior of others towards us always includes a hidden gift. Even if that behavior appears negative, there is something in it for us. Come on here. People are our teachers, y'all. Ooh. Very often that something appears in the form of a signal to us to become more aware. Let's say, for example, that somebody calls us stupid. Our natural response is one of anger. We can use the energy of that anger consciously. What is that person asking me to become more aware of? Come on, teach it. And see that person, instead of succumbing to the emotion, instead of reacting to the emotion, emotions are the only purpose of an emotion. Come on here. This is me interjecting here. The only purpose of an emotion is to make us aware of what we need to tune into, not for us to sink into that emotion. Hello? Those emotions are smoke signals. That's what they are. So if somebody called you stupid and anger came up, boom, become aware. Like he just said, what is that person asking me to become more aware of? If we ask ourselves for the question, we may come to the realization that we are being self-centered. We were being uncaring. We were failing to acknowledge them, and we were not being conscious and aware of what was going on in the relationship. If we constantly follow this procedure, we will come to the awareness that everyone in our life is acting as a mirror. Everyone in our life is acting as a mirror. Everyone in our life is acting as a mirror. So all of this, ruminating in situations and I can't stand and why he and why she and I can't believe and what the whoop. You're looking at it subjectively and from a victim standpoint. You've never been a victim. You've always been a student. Always. And everything in life is happening for you, never to you. Okay? But we love to be the one in the center. Okay? That ego is a mother, ain't it? That ego will make it about us every day, all day, twice on Sunday. All right? They are really reflecting back to us us what we have failed to acknowledge within ourselves. Check your hair now. Check your hair. Don't get mad with me. Okay. I love you for real. Don't get mad with me. I'm taking it too. Okay. I'm getting gutted out over here like a fish as well. Come on now. Just hang in there for a little bit. We just going on one chapter. That's it. I promise. Everybody just breathe. Everybody just calm down. Okay. They are forcing us to look at what needs to be addressed. What aspect of our smaller self needs to be relinquished? This means that we have to constantly let go of our pride in order to undo anger so that we can be grateful for the continual opportunities of growth with which we are presented in the course of everyday experience. Everyday experience. Life is happening for us, not to us. To do this, we have to resist the temptation to indulge in making ourselves and others wrong. If we look at the small self aspect of ourselves, we will see that making ourselves and others wrong is one of its favorite activities. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. An example of that is politics and the media. This is because the small self is ignorant of better ways to accomplish our goals. It does not see the alternative, which is choosing to change a situation out of free choice. One way we force ourselves out of unsatisfactory situations is by making ourselves or the situation wrong. Instead of merely choosing to find a better job, for instance, or our smaller self makes the job, the boss, the fellow workers wrong. Because of the picture of wrongness, the situation now becomes intolerable and we are forced to change it. How much easier would it have been had we just simply chosen to move on to a better situation? Come on. However, because of our sense of obligation, guilt is very often the block to this simpler way. In other words, because of what has benefited us in a situation, we feel guilty about leaving it. So the unconscious ingeniously has created the whole mechanism of wrongness to force us out of a dead end situation. This often happens in interpersonal relationships where we feel that we have to make the other person wrong in order to justify leaving them. Come on here. Ooh. My goodness. It's Sunday. Ooh, we in church. Church. Resorting to the mechanism of wrongness is simply a denial of our own freedom to choose. Resorting to the mechanism of wrongness is simply a denial of our own freedom to choose. My God, today, okay? One source of anger stems from the unacknowledged acts of the love that we have expressed to others. Love in this context means the everyday simple forms of lovingness that go on in every human relationship in the form of thoughtfulness, consideration, polite gestures, encouragement, and providing. Very often, an internal dialogue can go on for years about our resentment over the other person's lack of appreciation for our feelings about them. Come on here. For years, you all. Years. Very often, an internal dialogue can go on for years. Okay. If this is so for us, it must be the case for others as well. There are people, therefore, in our life who are walking around with an endless mental stream of thoughts about us, having to do with our lack of appreciation of their feelings for us. Endless thoughts. This whole arena of anger can be offset and prevented when we see the enormous value of simply acknowledging the gestures of others towards us. This means to acknowledge all of their communications to us. For instance, if friends call us on the phone, we thank them for calling us. The reason for doing this is that it makes the other person feel complete and secure with us. It is an acknowledgement of their value in our life, and everyone feels pleased when we acknowledge their value. By this simple mechanism of acknowledgement, it is possible within a matter of days to transform all of one's relationships in a rather dramatic way. This acknowledgement does not have to go on in the outer world, but can take place within oneself. Come on. As we examine our relationships, we can ask ourselves, what have I failed to acknowledge in those with whom I have daily contact? Come on. Ooh, come on, check your hair. Check your hair. What have I failed to acknowledge in those with whom I have daily contact. Love it. It is a very valuable experience to pick someone in our life who, in our view, is critical towards us and now. Within ourselves, begin to look at how we have failed to acknowledge them. We surrender all of our negative feelings about them and we begin to give them credit, affirming their value to us. Their value may simply be that they are a spur to our emotional growth and development. The nagging spouse or scowling neighbor is trying to say something. Almost always is this sort of situation. Such persons are not feeling acknowledged for the contribution they are making to our life. Once they value us, once their value to us has been acknowledged, the nagging stops. Come on here. It's simple. Lauren Hill said it. The great wise one, Lauren V. Hill, stated, it could all be so simple, but we'd rather make it hard. Yes, yes, yes. Next section, expectations. Expectations. Come on. When we stop pressuring others with our expectations, we create an opening for them spontaneously to respond positively to us. We can, in a prophylactic, that's what we can, in a prophylactic move, offset resentments by shifting what we have done for others from the level of sacrifice to the level of loving gift. We can then acknowledge ourselves for this move and drop our expectations, which will dissolve the resistance in others. A simple experiment illustrates this shift. There was a man who brought back 2 new shirts from Mexico. The new shirts were of a totally different design than the kind of shirts and clothes he was accustomed to wearing. The first day that he decided to wear one of the shirts, he noticed he had an inner expectation and a sort of subtle pride in doing something new and different. However, instead of surrendering the pride, he decided to keep it. That is, he purposefully didn't use the letting go technique to surrender the pride and simply let it be there. He wanted to see what would happen, how people would respond. That day, he proudly wore the new shirt, and sure enough, nobody even noticed it, despite the fact that it was totally different from his usual attire. It must have really, really stood out, but there was not a single comment. When he went home, he had to laugh at how true, he had to laugh at how true was, wait. Hold on. When he went home, he had to laugh at how true was entrepreneur Robert Ringer's term for that kind of situation as the boy girl theory. Got it. Okay, I was getting a lie. I thought I ran on the sentence or something. Okay. All righty. So he was talking about the Robert Ringer's term for what that kind of situation was as the boy girl theory, which is boy wants girl, therefore girl is disinterested in boy. As soon as the boy is no longer interested in girl, girl now wants boy. Okay, that's what he means. The next morning, he decided he would wear the other new shirt, but this time he surrendered all of his vanity and his expectations of being noticed. He let go of that little pride that he was doing something new and different, and he acknowledged the love of all of his friends and the important part that they play in happiness, in the happiness of his life. By the time he got through the letting go process, he was totally surrendered on wearing the shirt. He knew he was totally surrendered because it was okay if they noticed the shirt and it was okay if they didn't. That day was suddenly the new shirt day. Almost every person he met commented on the new shirt, asked him where he had gotten it, and he spent the day getting lots of attention. This experiment humorously makes the point. We get what we want when we stop insisting on it. Come on here. You get what you want when you stop looking for it. Right. You just become a magnet to the thing, man, naturally. We get what we want when we stop insisting on it. Expectation of others is a form of emotional blackmail. Come on. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh. I just felt it. I felt it in my shanana. Okay. Ooh, I hope I'm not the only one getting jabbed here, y'all, because I'm getting jabbed. Expectation of others is a form of emotional blackmail. We can feel our resistance when others pull for certain emotional goods from us. We can get away from being emotionally blackmailed by looking at how we do it with others. And then we can let go of wanting to manipulate their emotional responses towards us. Wanting to manipulate the emotional responses towards us, y'all. That is exactly what we do. Mm, 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 mm. That's what we do, y'all. Come on now, check your hair. Check your hair, y'all. Ooh, my hair is on fire over here. I'm telling you now. My hair has been checked, chucked, and chicked, and all of the things, okay? Any form, past, present, and future words and tense of checked, okay? Another way of preventing anger is by making a decision within oneself no longer to accept invalidation from others or the small aspect of oneself. Come on. This decision can be in the form of a firm declaration. I will no longer accept invalidation from myself or others. Come on here. When this is coupled with the habit of acknowledging all that is positive within ourselves and others, relationships rapidly change. Their potential sources of anger having been removed. That's it. Once you turn up the fierceness in your own self, I love me fiercely and savagely. No one on this planet, I don't care who gave birth to me, I don't care who conceived me, whatever the case. No one on this planet can outlove me loving me. Period. Period, point blank. Right? And here's my thing when it comes down to that, to the me I'm referring to. If I love me to the highest extent of the definition of what love is, then anyone that wants to engage with me, hear me, I mean, hear me crystal clear. Anyone who wants to engage with me must meet me where I am. In terms of the level of respect that I show myself, you cannot come under that. Facts. The level of joy that I give myself, you cannot come on that. It will be illegal for you to do so. I have rules of engagement. When you engage with me, you follow these rules. To engage with me, you follow these rules. If not, you do not engage with me. End of story. Okay? See, when you don't play about you, because you see you, finally, you see you, you feel you, you know you, you acknowledge you, right? You love you, you hear you, you listen to you, you talk to you, you validate you. Nobody outside of you should be able to invalidate you. Period, point blank. Okay? Next section, chronic resentment. Chronic, unrecognized anger and resentment re-emerge in our life as depression, which is anger directed against oneself. If pushed further into the unconscious, it can re-emerge as psychosomatic illnesses. Migraine headaches, arthritis, and hypertension are frequently cited examples of chronic suppressed anger. These symptoms are very often alleviated as people learn how to let go of their inner anger. For example, in one study, the blood pressure measurements of the participants were taken before and after they received instruction on how to let go of negative emotion. All of the people with hypertension showed drops in their blood pressure, both the systolic and diastolic, the upper and the lower numeric reading. A perfect blood pressure is 120/80. So the systolic is the upper number, the diastolic is the lower number, okay? So, and 120/80 is the normal, quote unquote, the normal setting of a good blood pressure. So if you're reading higher than that, then that's where it goes into like much higher, especially it goes into the heart attack and stroke zones and things like that. Okay. Once they started letting go of the emotional pressure that they had built up over the years, that they saw drops in their numbers. The Stanford University Forgiveness Project confirms the cardiac benefits of relinquishing anger and resentment. In the program, parents of children killed in the Protestant Catholic violence in Ireland learned how to let go of their bitterness toward the enemy, the killers. Measurements of their cardiac health and physical stamina showed significant improvement. Forgiveness healed their hearts, literally. As we have said before, with muscle testing, we can prove instantly that anger and resentment have a deleterious effect on the body, emotions, energy flow, and on the synchronization of the brain hemispheres. Anger kills the angry person, not the so-called enemy. Well, that's just like the term with Romeo and Juliet, the term that we derive from that Shakespeare's play, which is unforgiveness is like drinking the poison, expecting the other person to die. Right? Anger kills the angry person, not the so-called enemy. That enemy has skipped down the yellow brick road. Meanwhile, you're still angry and bitter, upset, resentful, and all of that for years on end is breaking down your body. Okay? The mind would like us to think that there is such a thing as justifiable anger, which takes the form of moralistic indignation. If we look at moralistic indignation, we will see that it is propped up by vanity and pride. We like to think how right we are in a situation and how wrong the other persons are. We get a passing cheap little satisfaction out of that. But our muscle testing proves what the cost is to our overall emotional and physical economy. The price we pay for chronic anger and resentment is sickness and premature death. Is this worth the small satisfaction of being right? Come on here. Ooh, check your hair. We're checking hair here. The cost that we are willing to pay in these kinds of circumstances is sometimes surprising. Let's say we have a situation in which we made a loan to someone who has never paid us back. Come on here. Oh, is he on people's front porch or what? Now, you know that's what we deal with in our culture here. Come on now. The borrowing of the funds. Oh, my Lord. Here we go. We have a chronic resentment about it. And when we meet the person socially, we say as little as possible. If we get honest with ourselves, we will likely see that we are getting satisfaction out of being right and the other person's being wrong. In fact, we're enjoying it so much that a part of us really doesn't want him to pay off the debt, because then we would no longer be able to enjoy the secret pleasure of making him wrong. Come on here. We watching their pockets, seeing what they're spending. What you mean you bought your kids school supplies? Don't you owe me some money? What you mean you paid your light bill? Don't you owe me some money? What you mean your house caught on fire? You got a hotel room. Don't you owe me some money? Right? Right? We love, especially those who like to share with others what they've done for everybody else, what they've done. Okay. Yeah, man, I had to loan them a couple of dollars and what you telling them for? You know what I'm saying? It's a pride ego thing. That's what it is. Emotional blackmail. Ooh. This was precisely true in a case involving several $100s. The inner decision was made on the part of the lender to be honest about all of the little satisfactions of being right and making the other person wrong, and then to surrender on each one of these ego payoffs. Clearly, the ego payoffs were blocking the other person from repaying the loan. With continual surrender, the whole deal was totally let go, and a shift was made to view the loan as a gift. Admittedly, this other person had really needed the money. Why not simply see it as a gift and let go of the expectation of repayment? Now, instead of the resentment, gratefulness predominated because there had been the opportunity to help another human being in a moment of real need. Within 48 hours, a check arrived in the mail for the entire amount with a note of apology for the delay in repayment. Come on here. That's what I'm talking about right there. My grandmother, my dad's mom, used to say, if you cannot give it away, don't loan it out. If you cannot give it away, don't loan it to nobody. If you know that you're going to be upset and you're going to be checking every 5 days for, to see how much money they got, and every quarter you counting out of their pocket to see if you got to do all of that, then you probably couldn't afford to let it go anyway. I don't know why you gave it away anyway. And it probably speaks of why you're so, in a financial situation where you count pennies now anyway, because of that right there. And it's usually, I'm gonna tell you something. Here's another situation too. The ones who doing all of the harassing and stuff, becoming a bill collector, I can guarantee you, just as sure as my name is what it is, they owe somebody else some money. But because that's usually how it goes. You own me because somebody own you. That's what that is. But that other person that's on you probably gave you a pass. But you ain't gonna give me a pass. The Bible talks about that story before. How a man was released from his debt that he owed, right? Which was a much larger number, mind you. He was given grace and leniency and was forgiven of his debt, only for him to turn around and badger somebody else who owed him a fraction of what he owed somebody else. And he badgered him about it. That's what happens, y'all. That's what happens. That short-term memory loss is something else. Okay. This experience and many like it demonstrate how we are all physically connected. The internal position we hold about another person is forcing them to adopt a complementary defensive position. It is therefore not Pollyanna to forgive and forget, but a reasonable recognition of emotional realities. The interactions between human beings are determined by the configurations of the vibrational energies that their emotions are radiating into space. That is correct. The energy of the vibration and the thought form with which it is associated create a readable record. Yes, yes, yes. And those records are recorded in history in time forever. Forever. So watch what's going in those record books, okay? What are you emitting, people? Although this common everyday experience is hardly news to most women, who in our society are characteristically more intuitive, it comes as a shock and surprise to a large percentage of men. In our society, men are characteristically left brain and given to reason and logic rather than intuition, which is characterized as a right brain function. As we continue to let go of negativity and bring about inner emotional healing, there is a greater balance between left and right brain function. The intuitive faculty is also available in men. Yes, it is. They are often pleasantly surprised as they begin to recognize its emergence. It is satisfying and surprising to be able to instantly to read, quote unquote, a situation that was totally baffling to reason and knowledge. The ideal situation is to form a working hypothesis with intuition and then to use reason and logic to check it out. This, of course, offsets the anger that arises with misunderstanding and miscalculation, and it increases the skillful mastery of emotions. Another thing that dissipates anger is our mere willingness to relinquish it. Willingness is our overall decision to find a better way, to stop relying on anger and to move up to courage and acceptance. That is on the levels of consciousness scale. This willingness already starts the process of relinquishing anger. As students of the martial arts are well aware, anger indicates weakness and vulnerability. Yes, it is seen as a tool that we are handing to our opponent. Man, we can see from muscle testing why this is so. The angry person has already lost half his muscle power and has therefore lost the split second timing that is so decisive to victory in hand-to-hand combat. It's true. Staying in control, centering yourself, staying in control and focus. Focus on the target, focus on the area, focus yourself. Because if you allow anger, any type of emotion to come in, you will lose. It is so prevalent in our society to include the propensity to anger as a male, quote, macho attribute. We hear people swelling with pride as they relate how they told that guy off. We can ask ourselves, who needs enemies? Isn't there enough negative influence in our life without adding one more? Especially when we look at the fact that all emotions generate a vibrational energy in the universe. What is the point of surrounding ourselves with negative thought forms about those we view as enemies? Correct. Why go out of our way to hold on to them as enemies by stockpiling resentments and negativity in our lives? Likely, he says likely, okay, when we review our own personal experiences, we will see that the effort involved in converting people we once considered enemies into friends brought gratification and a later reward. In most cases, they prove to be a positive benefit to our life. We never know whom in a later chapter of our life we are going to need as a friend. Come on. Come on. That's what we call today spinning the block. Okay. Not just in relationship form, but in friendship form. You never know. Okay. You cannot cross back over a burned bridge. It's impossible. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna tell you straight like this. Some bridges need to be ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Okay. Um, but even if you burn the bridge and just release the connection or the avenue at which that person can connect with you again and you can connect with them, don't do it in anger and resentment and bitterness. Do it by releasing them because you've learned a lesson. You send gratitude to them for teaching you the lesson, and you release them to go on and be well, be in health, prosper, all of those good things. Okay. There's the difference. There's the difference. All right. But some of them bridges need to remain ashes. Hello, somebody. All right. We need to be more aware. We need to be, aware that we have unwittingly become injustice collectors. The media reports are full of this form of chronic resentment. We see injustice collecting in international relations, where making the other nation wrong is actually a primary objective. We are unconsciously programmed to believe that injustice collecting is normal. In contrast to this habitual pattern, which is destructive and weakening, the letting go technique frees us from keeping close account of the wrongs made against us. Our time and attention are freed up to see the beauty and opportunity around us. That's it. Anger is blinding, not freeing. Anger is blinding. It's binding, not freeing. It connects us to another person and holds them in our life pattern. We are stuck in the negative pattern until we let go of the energy of anger and its little payoffs of righteous indignation, feeling wrong, and the desire for revenge. It may not be exactly the same person who constantly recurs in our life. If not that person, then others will appear who have the same quality that triggers our anger and resentment. Come on here. That test will pass you continually until you learn the lesson. This will keep recurring until we finally handle in our inner angriness. Then suddenly, people with that quality disappear from our life. Therefore, anger may force someone to be physically distant from us, but psychically, it binds them to us more closely until we fully relinquish the anger and resentment. Okay. So what he's saying here, it doesn't matter whether you're in close proximity or not. You could be hundreds and thousands of miles away. But if you still hold on to this person psychically, you're bound to them until you learn how to relinquish the anger and the resentment. Relinquishing anger brings us many benefits. We are free to experience emotional comfort and ease, gratitude for the daily opportunities to grow and heal, mutual caring with another without subtle strings attached, improvement in health, and more life energy. These breakthroughs allow us to move up to a more effective and effortless state of inner freedom. That's it right there, you all. That is amazing. Come on here. Now, that thing hit now. That thing definitely hit. Chapter 8 was entitled Anger. Okay, now on Tuesday, you all, we will be going over to chapter 9, which is called Pride. Pride. This is good. Now, you all listen. I've already offered this to you, which is for you to get your own book. We are just on we just finished chapter 8. We're just on chapter 9 now, you all. Okay, so we're still in the earlier phases of the book. You still have time to get your book. It is free of charge to you. I don't understand how I got to beg and plead to give somebody a book for free. What in the world is going on here? Now, if you would like to donate, you are more than welcome to do so, because I am a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So yes, donations is what we operate from, and it's how I'm able to do what I am able to do on a weekly basis. on all several platforms at the same time. But donations are welcome. They are not required for you to get this book. Get the book, okay? Get the book. Send me an email, send me a message, send me something so that I can send it over to you. All you got to do is send me your email address and I'll send it right on over to you, okay? You can email me at info@biancamissblee.com. Again, info@biancamissblee.com. Malachi on Facebook says, how can I get the book? Now, let me tell y'all something. See, he just set himself up for this one. All right. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Malachi, y'all, is a client of mine, a mentee of mine, and I speak to this joker literally once a week, a minimum of once a week. And I know this boy ain't asked me. Oh, yes. Oh, listen, I'm putting you out there. Yes, I am. Because you know better. All right. You know how to, you know better. he laughing his butt off. You know better. Okay. Now this avenue to ask where to get the book is for people who don't talk to me on a multiple times a week. Hello, somebody. Talk about some gotcha, coach. I bet you do. I bet you do. All right, you all. For those who don't talk to me on a regular basis, send me an email, okay? So that I can get the book over to you. Send me your email address and I'll send it right over to you myself directly, okay? Visit my website, you all. Go to my website and you can follow up. You can get tap into some of the services that I offer. You can also tap into some of the merchandise that I have. I have things for offices, for, I have merchandise that you can wear. I have books, I have journals and all of those things, classes, courses, services, all of those that you can utilize too. Also on the homepage, because I am an astrologer, you can go there and see all of the transits that that's happening right now. You all, we are about to, as of tomorrow morning, which I've been looking at this moon here like for the last couple of days because the energy of it has really been looming. It's been looming for a couple weeks now, actually. But the full moon in Aquarius is happening tomorrow. When I tell y'all, make sure you are following my pages so that you can see what this full moon transit it has in store for you all. Now, the mutable signs, y'all are definitely gonna get it, but this moon affects all of us. All of us, all of us, all of us, okay? So be sure to go and see all of the transits. Everything that's happening right now is on the page. So go and see what we are feeling, because some of you all are probably energetically connected. We're all energetically connected to the cosmos, to everything. We're interconnected, but you may not know why you've been feeling the things that you've been feeling. This is why. These transits will tell you why you're feeling what you're feeling, okay? All right, so be sure to do that, okay? Now, follow me on social media, you all. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, okay? All righty. Malachi on Facebook says, amazing astrologer and card reader and diviner. You better know it. I am gifted, that I am. I'm grateful for my gifts as well. I'm so grateful for my gifts, okay? I don't care what anybody thinks and feels about the tools of divining or whatever the case. There are tools. Every platform has tools of divining. If you're a Christian, your tools of divining is your Bible. Number one, that is a tool to divine, okay? Your prayers, your petitions, your decree, your declarations and decrees, those are tools of divining. The oil that you use to anoint a forehead, that is a tool to divine, okay? Your candles that you burn, those are tools of divining. You sitting at the altar, praying at the altar, those are avenues and bridges and tools for divining. Come on now, you all. Get out of your programmed mindset. Get out of your religious thinking and open yourself up. Expand yourself more to what's outside of your four walls, okay? Outside of the four walls of your thinking. Allow yourself to expand, to be enlightened, to evolve, to go and transcend from religious thinking, okay? Traditional mindset. We are not traditional beings. We were instructed to be in this world, but not of this world, because we are from another space. That's why even in the books that we read, it is referred to your smaller self versus your higher self. Your smaller self is this human form of you. Your higher self is who you truly are right now. And your higher self knows how to use all of these things and how to do the conjuring and the manifesting and the praying and the calling things and alchemizing and all of those things. Yes, yes, yes. We are right now in the process of reconnecting and realigning with our higher self. It requires you stepping outside of your programming. Okay? Outside of your programming. Don't get me wrong. Christianity was my gateway. That's how I came into the understanding and the understanding of spirituality. But it was just that, a gateway that led me into expanded knowledge. I will always give homage and pay respect to the avenue at which I learn, because I refer back to scripture. I refer back to learning and things like that 100%, because there's a power there. However, there's a lot of man-made infusion there too. Those are the things that I have broken away from. So should you. Okay. All righty, you all. Listen. Next chapter is chapter 9. That chapter again is entitled Pride. Okay. And that we will be going over that on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, Divine Femininity United. Guess what, you all? I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely, positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it, because it will not work anyway. Okay? You all have an amazing rest of your Sunday, and I will see you back here on Tuesday night, right here at Divine Femininity United. Peace.